Hi.
Hello.
Oh my God, it's so great to have you.
Hi. I'm so sorry I'm late, man. Time is a construct. Every day it gets worse to me.
Exactly. No, I totally feel you. Also, I'm in Miami, so you know us, Miami people.
Miami people, man. We got that Latino time.
Yeah, exactly. Latino time. How are you today?
I'm amazing. I've been on my self-care shit, so excuse me, I don't know if I can curse. My
Yeah. Well, I don't
bad.
know over those rules, but I feel like it feels fine. It feels good to me. I don't know.
Okay.
Feels right.
Good. Yes. I'm sorry. I'll refrain just in case.
Okay, cool. So we have a few questions. First of all, how did you find us? Because I know you followed us.
Yeah.
So yeah, just tell us if you can tell us that.
Yeah, so I was just doing some work with the Dream Defenders, and Lizzie just suggested it to me, and we were just, I don't know, yeah, it just kind of like casually made its way over because of the amazing work you guys do and the people's budget that you guys had put together. Um, so I was just interested in getting more involved in my community, obviously. And I've done work with the Dream Defenders before. I kind of had this idea to do like a little voter series to try to get people educated, but then no me dio tiempo. So, I'm trying to like do different engagements around it, but I realized like my capacity just wasn't like 100% in like, vote. Like, there's a lot of different ways I think that we can be more mindful about what's going on right now and more involved in our communities. And while I believe that voting is one of the essential parts of what we need to be partaking in, I don't think it's the end all be all of what's going to get us to where we need to go. And I think that organizations like y'all, organizations like the Dream Defenders, are doing this work daily to preserve what we have left of a democracy and to establish a more fair democracy, which is just to me, just what we need in this world right now, especially in this country. Like things are just bleak.
Yes. Yeah, we love Dreams of Creators. We have them as a partner in so many things. They're amazing. Talking about bleakness, if you were to reimagine Miami-Dade, what would it look like for you?
Oh, well, I think first and foremost, we need to take care of our homeless population. Um, there's a lot of houseless people. There's a lot of lack in lower income communities as far as funding goes. I mean, it's kind of the same structure as other major cities when it comes to like food scarcity and like accessibility to healthy food, accessibility to you know um, environmentally sane practices. I'd also definitely probably up the amount of money that we spend on our environmental protection because things are just kind of out of whack there. And just the safety and the health of our water is just so vital and important, not only because we are nourished by water, but because water is its own essence and it deserves to be protected as a giver of life. Um, and that's like the bay and our drinking water and the ocean that we get to protect our side of the ocean. Um, there's so many things. I mean, I would fire the DA personally that we have elected back into office, and obviously we need criminal justice. I like to refrain from saying reform because, in my opinion, the system that's in place is so extractive and so based off white supremacist ideals that to reform it's not even like a reality. It's kind of just this perpetual cyclical vibe of like we're just gonna kind of keep putting band-aids on a structural issue, but slowly but surely defunding the police and extractive practices and private prisons and all that kind of stuff. Shut down ICE, 100%. Fix immigration. There's a lot of shit, man. We could keep going. We could keep going. There's a lot of things. There's
And
a lot
that's
of things.
in our city. That's just in Miami-Dade. I
You
mean,
know what I mean? This is just Miami-Dade ideas that I have.
yeah, it's just Miami-Dade.
Excuse me, I'm outside, so there's like
No,
a
it's
car
okay.
just literally passed by me.
It's okay. Why has it been important to you to use your platform to talk about these type of issues facing communities in Miami-Dade?
I mean, I just feel like if I was given a platform, whatever that really means, you know, for me, it's always been a strange thing, like this kind of um, space that I live in, where it's like I don't want people to feel like I'm the end all be all of information for them at all. You know, I am a person. I am infallible. I have, you know, I try my best to lead by example in this life, and I think that everyone should do that to the best of their abilities. Of course, my example though is that I'm human and I'm evolving. I'm unlearning too. I also grew up in this country. I also was brainwashed. You know, we all have a lot of kind of mechanisms that we're undoing in ourselves right now. So if I could guide whatever amount of people listen to me for whatever reason to find themselves in that truth as well, and to start their journeys on that as well, then I'm gonna do it. Because why the hell else would I have attention? What's the point of attention if it's not to help raise consciousness, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's really important what you said about kind of our journeys to kind of figure out and unlearn. It's a process and it does take some mistakes. And that's what you have to be willing to do that, I think.
Yeah.
So why do you think also, why have you spoken about power to the polls and getting young people out there to vote and giving them voting?
Well, the young people have the largest demographic right now. So we have the largest voting power ever. Because, you know, our grandparents' generation, excuse parents' generation is slowly but surely on their way out, and then our parents' generation is of course getting older. My generation is getting into, you know, their 20s and 30s, and then we have the kids who have grown up since the last election, who have had to do. And imagine the last election they were 14 and they're 15 now, or they were 15 and they're 19 now, whatever it was. They've been affected greatly by what's been going on. They're the demographic that is the most on social media. They're the demographic that's the most intimately talking to each other about the issues that face us, in a progressive way that we really haven't seen in history. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't have the technology to communicate the way that we're able to communicate right now. And this is a global thing. This isn't even just the United States. You know, Americans have this like exceptionalism where we think that we're the only ones going through shit. But you know, the decisions that we make in the United States undoubtedly affect the entire world because of the military presence and power that we have across the world, you know. So these leaders that we put into place are vital. And so granted, I understand that this presidency, and I've been very transparent about this, and I'm going to continue to be, I don't like either candidate at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't agree with a lot of their practices. I don't agree with a lot of their histories as far as like what they've been up to. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, this is a political game though. So when we're talking about politics, unfortunately we've come to a place where we all feel like, okay, yeah, but we're dealing with politicians, we know they're corrupt, right? We've let it get to the point where we already know as a prerequisite a politician is corrupt, you know, which is kind of fucked if you think about it, but it's where we're at, you know. So if these young people are aware of this in such a way that's, I think, very powerful, because we're smarter than the older generation gives us credit for. We're more aware, we're more conscious, we're more empathetic. Granted, you know, we have some people who were raised in ways that they're also still programmed and brainwashed, but they're more likely to be held accountable by this generation, by their own peers than, you know, previous peers. In my parents' generation, for example, my parents would be more likely to be called out for being progressive, you know, and this is just like an example. I'm not talking about my parents specifically, but I'm saying generationally speaking. They would be more called out for being progressive, maybe radical per se, you know, than our generation is, because we're much more radicalized. We're much more ready for change, much more revolutionary minded, much more present with the fact that this is not a sustainable world that we're living in. And we're seeing the effects of that. And we're seeing the effects of what that's done to our psyches, what that's done to our mental health, what that's done to our physical health, what that's done to our world. And so I think that the younger generation is in tune with that. And we don't want to give our kids or their kids a world that not even this world. We want to give them a better world. We definitely don't want to give them a worse world. That's kind of the trajectory we're on if we aren't mindful of how many more positions are up for re-election this year that aren't just the president, that need our attention in our cities, in our counties, and in our municipalities.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say, because in this work, I hear a lot of people saying that they feel like they don't know enough, maybe,
Yeah.
or something like that, where how do you feel like you're ready? You know, I guess is the question.
How do I feel like I'm what?
How do you feel how do you know you're ready to vote, even if, like, let's say you're a first time voter or something like that? How, like, what is the process? Like, why are you registered to vote in Miami-Dade?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm registered to vote in Miami-Dade because I was born and raised there, and I live there now. And I just feel like I've never even left. I never even changed where my vote was going to be going because my family lives there, and they're affected by those kinds of decisions. And to be fair, Florida is a pretty conservative state. It's kind of radical to even talk like I do being from Florida. And I've learned that moving back earlier this year, that it is a ground where there's a lot of older generational presence as far as what beliefs are there, or are the beliefs that take like prevalence in order, like who's deciding who the candidates are who are being elected. There's a lot of older presence. And again, that's why I'm getting so involved about talking to kids about how important their local elections are, is because the people who are going out to vote are the older generation who are more conservative, who are more to be honest, unconscious of the ways that their decisions affect lower income communities, more vulnerable communities, immigrant communities, undocumented communities, which they're people too, living and contributing to our economy, regardless of whether we acknowledge that or not. So, you know, there's a, when do you feel ready is kind of hard because we're brainwashed. We've been brainwashed. They make it hella complicated. It is not an accident that you don't really know what to do or where to go or who to vote for or what they really stand for. That's not an accident. You know, that was done on purpose. The confusion is a part of the entire white supremacist structural element to government in general in the United States. Because again, we're living on land that was colonized by European forces and taken from natives. We're still on that same land, built by slaves, built by Native Americans who were enslaved as well. And also generations of refugees and immigrants who have come from all kinds of places over the course of time, because we're a melting pot of all of us here in the States. We can talk all we want about who has a bigger percentage, who fills in their census more often, who is accounted for in this country is, I don't think, reflective of who really runs this country, who really built this country, who really is the fabric of this country. And that is the people who most often get ignored by politics and who most often get sidelined by politics or redlined by politics. And so when we vote, I think my main thing is to educate kids or people listening in general, because there's across generations people listen to what I'm saying, listen to what we're saying, celebrities are saying, because it's major celebrity culture in the States, you know? Like, it's important to know that all of these things are not separate. They are part of a whole, a functioning whole that we are responsible for. If we continue to leave the responsibility to politicians who have corporate interests in their pockets, we're going to continue to go down this route of fascism that we're seeing and that we've been in for the past 4 years. And that is scary. That's a scary thought. So educating yourself, again, people like you, Engage, people like the Miami Dream Defenders, people like Catalyst Miami, people like, you know, who are doing the work in community and really making it their priority to care about the people. That's who we need to be listening to. That's where you need to be getting your information from. Those are whose voter guides you need to be going through to see the questions that they're asking and what those politicians are responding to, just so that you can have a better sense of the character of the person that you're voting for. One of the biggest things I think that leads to this ignorance that we have around our political system is the two-party system myth. You know, that we either have to vote Democrat or we have to vote Republican, and there's a huge difference between the two about what they do for us as people. They are two heads of the same beast, two wings of the same eagle, two, you know what I'm saying? Like, and at the end of the day, you have to be aware of that, and you have to vote for who aligns with your values aside from party. Fuck a party, Democrats and Republicans alike. Nobody is telling the truth when they're telling you what they're about. The truth is in the actions. The truth is in the actions. The truth is in what are they doing? Who is funding their campaign? Where are they receiving money from to fund their campaign? That's going to tell you exactly what they're going to do as a politician in a position of power. Who is giving them money? That is who is going to be having their agenda executed when that person is in power. Follow the money, and you will always find your answer about who is trustworthy and who is actually going to make a difference.
That's an amazing answer. Yeah. Yeah, and for anyone listening in Miami who wants to get registered to vote, you can go to engagemiami.vote. And we had a voter guide for the primary, and we're having another voter guide coming out soon. I designed the cover, and I'm very proud of it.
Yes, we love support.
Yes, as a communications manager at Engage, you have to do everything. So like just everything, all kinds of things. So yeah, we're coming out with our voter guide. We also we know that young people, like you said, are most interested in the issues more than anything. So they tend to just be about the issues, be focused on the issues, and we have particular issues that we're focused on as young people in Miami, which we have a platform on called YPPP, Young People's Policy Priorities. So definitely check that out. And we do a lot of we don't only just do like voting work, we also just do a lot of work around different issues. Like you said, we go to budget meetings. We just went to one.
Me too. I was there. I was like, you guys are scary. You guys are very scary talking about money. Like, we don't know what the like, how are you going to talk to us about a budget? We all have to budget our lives every day, and you're going to tell us that all these millions of dollars just aren't there. They're not there. You're funny. They're funny. They're really funny.
And that's why we need to be represented as young people. We need to build that political power as young people. We need to show up, and we need to get others to show up. We need to get our friends, our communities, our families, everyone involved. It's not just you're done when you register to vote. Get others to vote. And it definitely doesn't end at voting. That's just one step.
It's like a 2% step of how we're going to get to where we want to go.
Exactly. We need to see as young people how we could be civically engaged, how that can be a practice of every day. It's an everyday practice, because we need to build that power. But nobody wants to hear from me here, so let's just continue with you.
Girl, what? No. You're just as valuable to this conversation as I am. Please.
Thank you. Okay. Let me see.
You do the actual work. I'm just amplifying. I'm like, you're in here doing the fucking work. You just said you did the cover art for the voter guide. Come on.
Yeah. I'm very lucky to work at Engage Miami, because I am just impressed by all types of young people in Miami doing amazing work every day. We have incredible fellows and canvassers that phone bank every single day, that just get people hyped to vote. Our fellows do incredible work. They host incredible events. We have one coming up tomorrow. It's called Mutual Aid 101, and it's all about
Send me the link. Send me the link.
Oh, I will. It's all about learning about mutual aid. We're out there in all types of different ways, because it's definitely not just about voting. However, please register to vote. Please. What is your advice for young people looking to be civically engaged in Miami?
My advice would be, first of all, figure out what it is you're passionate about. What is it that bothers you about what's going on? What is it that you like about what's going on? What is it that you like? Come up with your little dream plan. Like you know how she asked me in the beginning, like, if you could change what you could about Miami, what would you change? Do that for yourself with your specific county, your city, your municipality, and be like, okay, if I could change stuff about what's going on, what would I want to change? What am I passionate about? What do I care about? Once you figure that out and where you align, then you look for local organizations in your city, county, or municipality, again, who are doing the work already, who are already doing this work, who already know who to vote for. They've already done the research for the voter guides. They are more educated than you are. That's something that I had to do. I was like, okay, I could sit here and educate people about stuff, right? But am I educated, or am I being educated through this process right now? And I had to come to that conclusion of, hold on, there's a car coming. I think that was Jeff Bezos. Well, no, maybe not. Maybe not. It kind of looked like him though. Anyways, so you have to figure out what it is you're passionate about. Look into your local orgs. And when I say orgs, I do not mean government affiliated. I mean non-government affiliated organizations, non-profit organizations, grassroots organizations, mutual aid organizations, community-led and sustained organizations. That is who you want to be looking towards, because they're the ones who actually give a fuck about the people. That's who cares about what's going on. Those are the people who are working day in and day out to make this place a fair place for everybody. They're the ones helping. And you can even volunteer with these people. You know what I'm saying? You don't just have to drain them of resource and just go in and only, absorb information. You can give as much as you take right back, because they're the ones who are actually actively doing the work to create that world that you want to see. So if you can be giving of your time or energy in whatever way possible, whether it's like after school or on the weekend for an hour on Sunday or something like that, if you can dedicate your time to an organization, that's another way that you can be involved and helping progress towards where we want to progress. Again, voting is 2% of the issue. So get involved with those orgs and help get educated through those people who align with your values. And other people in your city. Don't be afraid to talk to your neighbors about what's going on. Like, Don't be afraid to re-educate people and stand in your power and stand in the education that you have about what's going on. Most people you will find have no idea what's happening outside of their bubble politically. Like outside of what happens to them, they really don't know what's going on. Also, you're going to find a lot of people who only care about politics as it refers to economics. And politics is not just about economics. There are social, political, there are socio-political aspects and economic aspects of politics. You know what I'm saying? Like there's multiple realms in which politics affects you. And one of the biggest is definitely so economically, of course, but socially, the social programs and the things that go on that help our communities stay alive and afloat and mentally sane and able to engage in society in a way that is not destructive to the whole, aka needs being met, resources for people who don't have them. You know, that's all decided by our government officials. And guess what? It's our tax dollars. All of that, you know, all that money that Uncle Sam takes from you after you work. I don't know how many of you work, but all of that money that your parents get, that they work their asses off for, that gets like 40-something% taken out and given to the government, like that's your money. You worked for that. It should be used to support you and what you need out of your community. And all of us should be the most concerned about or with the most vulnerable. Because if you're taken care of and you have your needs met, it shouldn't be an economic choice whether or not you're going to vote for someone at this point and what's going on right now in our country. Like you really got to be voting with your fucking heart for this one. You really have to be voting with your gut instincts, in alignment with nature, in alignment with where we're going. Because I don't know if y'all are noticing, but these old structures are crumbling. They are not sustainable. They've never been sustainable, but shit has hit the fan. All the way hit the fan. The shit is just flying all around the room at this point. You know what I'm saying? So we got to do damage control, unfortunately. And one of the major ways to get damage control is literally that, is voting for someone who's not a complete and total a-hole.
Also, definitely learn about your local politicians and local, just everything local, because
There's a hummingbird.
Oh.
I'm sorry, go ahead. There's two.
No, it's okay.
There's two of them.
Oh my god, I don't think I've ever
There's
seen
two
a
colibris.
hummingbird.
They're so cute. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's your energy. You call them. Call them to you.
They're so cute.
Yeah, I was just saying that, you know, your local community, I know that the media covers national news, but there's so much happening locally, and all of these decisions that affect your everyday, your family's everyday, your community every day. We need to get more educated. We need to build that power, especially for young people. Okay, so how do you think that young people could use their own voices and platforms to mobilize their peers to register to vote and just be active in their local community?
Well, most of you guys have friends. If you don't have friends, you might have cousins. If you don't have cousins, you might have neighbors. If you don't have neighbors, you might have coworkers. If you don't have coworkers, you might have parents. There's a lot of people you might know. You're one person. You're one ripple in the ripple of us all. You know what I mean? In the big pond that we're all in. So if you can even get one extra person to come with you to vote, if you can convince your siblings to register to vote, I know I'm taking my two siblings' asses with me to the polls. You know what I mean? Like if you can convince somebody to do it, do that. That's how you can use your voice. You can use your platform. You might have 100 followers. You might have 50 followers. You might have 10. It's more than one. All of those numbers are more than one. So you can post about it. You can post the link of where you can register to vote, which is super easy. Where you go? EngageMiami.com. Woo.
Like EngageMiami.vote.
.vote, excuse me. EngageMiami.vote.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like There's actually a million websites you can go to register to vote. All you have to do is go to Google, type in, what's my voter status? How do I register to vote? And you'll get mad links coming up. You can send a text out to people. You can send a group text out. You can host a cute little socially distanced voter registration party. You can do so many things. Get creative. You're a creative little soul. Get creative, you know? But most importantly, dude, 100% get aligned with what organization you feel passionate about and read a fucking voter guide. I didn't know anything about my local officials until I read a voter guide. I didn't know anything until I really got into it and sat down with the team at Miami Dream Defenders, and I literally sat on the phone with people for a couple hours at a time sometimes to get an understanding of what our system is like. So understand that it's not an easy process. It's not an effortless process. It is a process that has been made difficult for a reason, so as to suppress our voices. And there's active voter suppression happening, especially in Florida right now. There's literally unconstitutional, illegal voter suppression happening right now. You're not supposed to have a poll tax. And we legally reinstated felons' rights to vote as a community, okay, a few years ago. And fucking DeSantis is out here just being like, no, can't do that. You got to pay off all of your debt. And we don't have to tell you how much debt you have. And we're not required to tell you if it's been paid off or not. So it's all up to chance, no matter how much you do pay off. That's voter suppression. So if you have the capacity to actually vote and you have that right, and it's not being taken from you and it's not being dangled in front of your face and manipulated for you, use it. Use it.
100%. What gives you peace these days during these times, these pandemic times?
Girl,
Hummingbirds.
what I've had to make my constant. Like, actually, I've like, all of this has made me come back to myself in such a powerful way, and knowing that none of us are going to be able to do anything in this world if our cups are not full. If we are feeling depleted, if we are feeling anxious, if we are feeling lack, if we are feeling tired, exhausted, drained, manipulated, all of the things that the media is doing to us, all of the things that the current administration is doing to us, all of the things that these white supremacist patriarchal structures are doing to us, you know, like, I've learned that inner peace is the hardest revolution. It's that resting, truthfully resting, actually taking the time to be like, you know what, I'm not going to engage in this. Finding moments of peace, living in moments of peace, understanding how much we deserve that, centering my life around self-care instead of, you know, scheduling in self-care if I can, making that my priority, making that what my life revolves around. And granted, that's a privilege. That's not something everyone can do. So I acknowledge that. But that's what helps me. Creating helps me. Music, reading, praying. Praying has helped me so much. I don't even give a fuck. Like, I love God. God loves me. The universe is real. Quantum physics, look it up. Like, literally, understanding your power and understanding co-creation in this realm, that's the shift. That's the peace of mind, is knowing that it's not up to me. Things are like, everything controllable things, there are slim to none in this universe that we can control. But if we give up that control and we give that power to the ether, to the universe, to God, to the flow of things, to love, whatever it is you call it, Allah, Yeshua, whatever. Yeshua's Jesus, my bad. But, like, you know what I mean. All of these things, there's so many different things that you can piece onto to help you get through your moments of darkness and anxiety and lack of clarity. So
100%. For sure. And we need that in order to build the power that we need as young people.
yes, and the world that we wish to see. The world that we wish to see, in my when I envision it, it's not so harsh. It's not so much about productivity. It's not so much about what I can do. It's about how I'm feeling. It's about the people around me, the vibrations around me, whether or not what I'm doing with my life resonates with my heart, from my heart.
That's
Finding that purpose. That's
yeah,
that shit. That's the stuff that'll really get you out of your anxiety mode.
100%. What is your favorite place in Miami? And you don't have to be specific, but we can get into Miami talk if you want.
Well, my favorite place is my parents' backyard because I grew up there, and like that's where I feel my most creative. That's where I get like a lot of my inspiration from, is that backyard. So that's one of my favorite places. Let's see. I love Akashi. I am an Akashi whore. I literally love it. um, what else? I love the beach, of course. I love going to the beach, and just kind of sitting with my thoughts, being present. That's what I love. I love being out in the water.
The
Yeah.
water's so healing.
It's so healing, dude. It's been such a savior through this whole time. Like the other day, I went rollerblading at night with a friend, and I ended up on the beach at night, and it was just like a full moon, and everything was lit up, and the water was warm, and it was just, I was able to just cleanse and get all that shit out of my system and lay down and absorb the blessing that it is to be alive, truly, through all of this chaos.
Yep, that's amazing. Yeah. Every time I know for me, every time I get stressed out in Miami, I just go to the water. I'm like, it's time. It's
Gotta
that
do a drive.
Yep, it's that time. So I just want to tell folks, if you want to register to vote in Miami, go to engagemiami.vote and check us out, Engage Miami. We are an organization that just works with young people, builds political power with young people. And yeah, we're out there, and there's a lot of organizations like ours in your local community. Definitely get into the local aspect of everything, of all the issues that you care about. We oftentimes think about things in a national scope or even in a global scope, but there's so many things going on that you can be involved in your local community. It's very important, and it's very powerful, and we need you. Young people are, showing up to vote like never before. So we need to get out there and grow in our numbers even more to really show off, show up to the issues that we care about. Yeah. And would you like to add anything? How are you feeling today? Anything to add?
No, I think that was a great conversation, and just for anyone watching, like I hope that you absorbed what we were talking about, and you do what you can. Again, I understand if you're not crazy about the presidential election. I'm not either, but I am very crazy about what's happening locally, and there's some hope about getting past hope and moving into conviction about what kind of world we want to create, and instead of hoping that something happens, it's really like doing, getting out there and making it happen, because it's not just going to happen. It'll never just happen. Actually, they're actively trying to make it not happen. So just know that your power is very great. It is not, don't sleep on your power, man. Don't sleep on your power. Even if you don't have 8 million followers that I have, you know what I'm saying? Like, that means nothing. If you have 10 followers, that's 9 people outside of yourself. And it's 10 people outside of yourself that's listening to what you have to say. So just be a light.
100%. If you're ever, what I do is any issue that makes me anxious, what can I do about it?
What can I do about it? What can I actively do about it? What's in my control?
Who needs me right now? Where can I be? Where can I go? Who can I talk to? It's all very important. And you would be surprised, as somebody not famous, what you're able to do, the kind of power that you have. We all have power, especially as young people.
Yep.
We are growing in our population, and we are educated and smart, knowledgeable, and we have the passion. So we just need to get together and do this. And beyond just voting, but please register to vote, engagemiami.vote, or in your local community.
I'm sorry, there's like mad cars passing by. What'd you say?
It's
Otra. Hold on. One more. We got it. Thank you.
You're in LA right now, right?
Huh?
You're not in Miami?
No, I'm not. Thank you. No, I'm good. Thanks. Oh, that's great. Okay. What? That was such a weird ass engagement. That man literally was like, hold on, I'll take a real picture of you. Pulls out a professional camera. And I'm like, no. he's like, oh, I thought you were trying to take a picture of yourself. I was like, no, I'm good. Like, you're chilling. And so he goes, okay, cool. I stole this camera. my dude, keep going. What are you doing? I don't even know all of that. I don't even know any of it, actually. What the fuck? That was so crazy. Oh, wow. Okay, anyways, vote, kiddos. Go register. Tell your friends. I love you. Peace and blessings.
Bye. Thank you so much, Lauren. Bye.
Thank you, babe. I appreciate you.
Yes, bye.
Bye.